Welcome to the Dr. Aaron Show. This is a top spiritual awakening and new thought ancient wisdom podcast to teach you how to become your highest self, unleash your spiritual superpowers, discover your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams. Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron, Doctor of Divinity, and I'm committed to bringing you the best manifesting and coaching tips, spiritual advice, trauma healing, and metaphysical recovery secrets. I'm here to help you reprogram your subconscious mind, monetize your spiritual gifts, and love your life. I want you to know that I've been exactly where you are, and I believe in you. Together, we're awakening the world. Hi, Divine Loves. So today is all about understanding the miracle of you, body, mind, and spiritually. Understanding the divine connection of the triune nature of your ability as spirit to communicate with all of life. So when my son was 9 months old, we were in a rollover truck and trailer accident. We were going 60 miles per hour, and his father lost control of the truck and trailer going 60 miles per hour on the highway, and we did a complete rollover accident. Luckily, no one died, and unfortunately, I massively injured my back, and I was laid up for many weeks. And my back, it was years of me basically healing my back through my spiritual work and through the breath work. And within a few years later, I was able to have zero pain in my entire body. It was really a true miracle. But what I know for sure is that there is a coincidence between what happens on the external world with what happens on the internal world. However, I didn't quite understand it at that point in time, how significant that rollover was, that was in a complete alignment with what was really out picturing my life, which was I was not in alignment with my truth. And my life was breaking down in all forms because I was not living my truth. So years later, even this last 2 years ago, I hadn't felt any pain in my body for many, many years from all the spiritual work I was doing. In fact, I would mostly feel like I was floating through life. It was really almost like an enlightenment state in the body. And about 2 years ago, I began to have this pain in my shoulder, and it began to feel like it was kind of out. It didn't hurt bad, but it was just enough that it was out. And over the course of the year, it began to get worse and worse. And it ended up getting so bad that I had to go get an MRI, and I actually kind of fell on it as well. And I was quite freaked out. I was like, wow, I didn't know if it was going to ever be okay again, because there's what's called a frozen shoulder, and they can do a surgery, but even with surgery, sometimes it doesn't get fixed. So I was kind of like, wow, as a spiritual teacher, right? I was like, wow, we know that this is not just a physical thing, that everything is spiritual. So I began to really take a look at what was going on and what had began to go on around the time that my shoulder was out. And there was actually a breakdown within the community with the client. And I actually had to take her out of the community, and it was kind of a mess. It was one of the hardest things I'd gone through in my career and in my mission. And I wanted to make her wrong. You know, there was a part of me that really wanted to make her wrong. And as I began to dive into looking at my shoulder, I had to really take a look at what was really going on. And we know the extent to which we hand our power over to the external world is the extent to which we will be disempowered, or the extent we will start having communication through the body. So in this, what happened was I began to do a process, a very advanced process. And the process goes like this. How did I create this? How did I create this? And I would ask myself over and over again, looking at the situation, coming to the revelation that I chose to create it for my development as a leader. And in that, guess what? I happened to have somebody refer me to a doctor who was pretty much the only doctor that I've ever heard of that was a brain surgeon at one point in time, and gave up his medical license so that he could do the work that he felt like so much of the work that the Western world was doing in medical field didn't need to be done. Majority of the surgeries he felt didn't have to be done, some yes, but that most of it can be done naturally and spiritually. So I went to this doctor poignantly at the exact same time that I'd done all my spiritual work. And within 1 week, he basically adjusted my shoulder back in, which was extremely painful. And I had zero pain left in my shoulder. So is it a coincidence or is it a coincidence, right? It's all a consciousness outpicturing from spirit. So the truth is that the body keeps the score, right? We know this through that poignant book, and along with Louise Hay's book, Heal the Body, and many other incredible teachers that have taught us that everything is a divine sign of spirit. So we know, and one of my favorite quotes in this is really knowing the grand symphony of the body, mind, and spirit, that life is the whim of several billion cells to be you for a while, as Groucho Marx says, right? We know that through the hidden messages of water, of that there's always the frequency and vibration, that everything's outpicturing, everything's a communication. So of course, the body temple is an outpicturing of our spiritual health or ill health, right? Louise says that she considers that all negative beliefs and patterns impact our physical body. We know that all dis-ease begins in mind, everything. The body is literally just a conduit for truth. And we know that, it's incredible. Even the epigenetics will keep the record of all lifetimes of all trauma and everything now. It's becoming so poignant that the body, mind, spirit is the triune nature, that everything is here for our showing of how miraculous of a temple that we have. That the average body has around 100 billion nerve cells communicating information faster than a lightning bolt, right? And if you laid out all of your nerve cells, the cell thread would wrap around the earth almost 2.5 times, consisting of approximately 90,000 miles in length, okay? The body is made up of about 37 trillion cells, each having their own specific function, informed by genetic coding. We are an incredible vessel in these divine, things called the body. So everything is spiritual. So when we're doing the grand awakening to the truth of who we are, we have to know that these are the most advanced computers in the galaxy, right? Could be potentially these bodies of the fractal of divine one. And in this, we know that spirit means breath. And so as I would love for you to go into this guided meditation of understanding the incredible correlation of how spirit is communicating to you at all points in time. Your higher self is communicating to you through your body. And so, you can tell when you go into an environment or when you're around somebody, there's really something inside of each and every one of us that says yes and expands, or contracts and says no. And so I'm always listening to the divine signs for me to know in that guidance. Sometimes I honor that guidance and sometimes I go against it because I needed some more of a lesson along the way, right? But there's spiritual signs through the body and listening to the body. So what are you listening to? What is your body telling you, right? What is it telling you? Because it just tells us, it's like a GPS. It's saying you're going the right direction or you're not in alignment. And everything, we know this even through science and the body, that there's a feedback system through homeostasis that really always is feeding back mechanisms through negative feedback and through positive feedback, right? Same thing spiritually. And there's set points within the body. There's various psychological and physical aspects that keeps the pH levels correct and reports back, right? And this is to keep us in homeostasis. But so what does that mean if we want to go beyond what we've known? What does this mean in our spiritual awakening? That sometimes there's a time to get uncomfortable and go out of our comfort zone and beyond our homeostasis. And there's another time that we're listening to the body of it telling us where we're off track. So there's a fine line between understanding those two things. So as you go into this meditation, into this guided meditation, just allow truth to infuse your cells, to infuse your consciousness. It's not about figuring it out. It's really releasing all the limited beliefs, releasing the programming so that you can listen to that miracle of listening. Listen to that part of you that is speaking through your higher self. And the higher self speaks through the soul, the subconscious mind, and it's going to give you feedback. And so listen to that bliss, listen to that fear, listen to that suffering, listen to that strength. There's wisdom in the negative and the positive feedback, not just the positive feedback. Everything, every emotion, every feeling in your body, every symptom in your body, every dis-ease, every bliss is speaking to you, guiding you, back home to yourself, to living your divine life. So please take the time, enjoy this. It's just an 11-minute guided meditation to have you live in truth, for you knowing that the body, mind, and spirit is connecting to speak through your body, through your feelings, through everything. Have a beautiful, beautiful time, and may you live your truth. Welcome to the meditation on awakening your balance within, the law of oneness. I'd like to begin by inviting you to take a few deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Taking a few clearing breaths, stepping into the now. Life is the whim of several billion cells to be you for a while. Groucho Marx. The law of oneness. There is one presence, one mind, one spirit, and one life source, which is divine love. This law unifies all people, places, and things, and it is the interconnectedness of all of life, past, present, and future. You are energetically connected to all of life. Your individual consciousness is connected subconsciously to the subjective mind, which is connected to the collective consciousness and the cosmic consciousness. You are the individual and the universe co-creating in the most brilliant way. The body is the ultimate tool for spirit to communicate in the physical realm. Your breath, your senses, your feelings are the guide to bringing balance to your life. So again, let's take a few deep breaths, focusing on inhaling and exhaling. Noticing the point where they come together, experiencing where the finite transcends into the infinite. For there is no breath without consciousness. There is no breath without a body to breathe. There is no oxygen to breathe without the trees that have been nourished by the sun, rain, and Mother Earth. This is the life force that touches all, interconnects each and every one of us to the entire universe. The same life force nourishes each and every one of the cells within your body. It is the spark of each and every thought. It holds the stars in the sky and turns night to day. This is your connection to all of life through the body, mind, and spirit, transcending the life cycle from your humanness to your eternality. In the book, The Hidden Messages of Water, Masaru Emoto showed how emotions affect water. He decided to freeze water and research how it was affected by occurrences, pictures, letters, music, and by praying to the water. He found that positive vibes produce beautiful crystals, and in turn, negative vibes created disfigured crystals. Your body is made up of 70% water and is impacted by the vibrations of your thoughts and words. And so, I'd like to invite you to consider that your breath is the key to unlocking the balance within. As you breathe, you discover your truth. As you breathe, you unleash clarity, knowing where you desire to spend your time. As you breathe, you have the knowing around what to say yes to and what to say no to. And with this deep certainty, life becomes easy. You unleash your grace. And so as we go deep, deep within to the divine aspect of ourselves, there is no separation between the body, mind, and spirit. The material world often has us fooled that these three aspects are distinctive. But this is impossible. To have a body without a soul, it is impossible not to feel an emotion without a thought. It is impossible to dance without creative source that you are, spirit. And so, if the body is like the vessel and the heart is like the wind, then spirit is the guide,
the Dr. Aaron Show.
which navigates
If you're ready
us
to
through
transform
life.
your life, discover your soul's purpose,
The
and
human
manifest your
spirit
dreams, go to
is an inborn intelligence
draaron.tv. Join
with
me
many
in my
qualities.
life-changing events, membership, or
Intuition,
certification. If you're ready to become a
instincts,
certified coach and get trained in
consciousness,
metaphysics of mind,
and common
manifestation,
sense.
and the creative process, subconscious
Spirit
reprogramming, trauma
can be
recovery
seen as a
healing,
captain of
spiritual
our ship
psychology, universal
because it
law,
is who
and much more,
you truly
go to
are,
draaron.tv.
your higher
If you're
self.
receiving value from the show, I would love it if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review.
And so breathing into
Have
the
a beautiful
sacred
day,
moment,
and may you live
the
your truth.
oneness, the symphony, I invite you to begin to realize that if you don't develop an innate, intimate relationship with your higher self, you will often lack direction, turning round and round in circles, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. When you attune to your higher self, you are more in harmony with your deeper nature. You find balance. You are able to know that your body needs. You are more able to work through personal hardships, knowing what your heart and soul needs. You awaken the innate healer and the infinite artist within. And so today's practice is to expand your thinking. Taking that deep, deep breath and unlocking the knowing and balance within. So I invite you to ponder these questions throughout the day. How much do you believe you have an innate intelligence within, capable of restoring balance within your life? How much do you believe that as you gain clarity within your life, everything within your life, the circumstances, become more harmonious? So knowing that this breath take us deeper and deeper into that knowing and into the clarity, allowing us to say yes to what we truly are committed to saying yes to our bliss, to saying yes to you. And as we go deeper and deeper into the breath, releasing everything that no longer serves us, being able to say no to the things that no longer serve our lives, being able to say no to that which no longer vibrates and aligns with our truth. So taking another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing again in through the nose and out through the mouth. I know for certain that today is a day of balance, that there is only balance, because all of life is designed to teach and awaken us to who we truly are. And so bringing gratitude into this day, knowing that wherever we have been out of balance, that there has been lessons and blessings. Knowing the body is the ultimate tool to guide us, to direct us, to awaken the perfect balance and harmony for the greatest version of ourselves. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Erin Show. If you're ready to transform your life, discover your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams, go to drerin.tv. Join me in my life-changing events, membership, or certification. If you're ready to become a certified coach and get trained in metaphysics of mind, manifestation, and the creative process, subconscious reprogramming, trauma recovery healing, spiritual psychology, universal law, and much more, go to drerin.tv. If you're receiving value from the show, I would love it if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.